Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping in. Come on in and have a seat because I got something to show you. Okay, this is the book my mother wrote. Get it? There we go. Okay, and she was a senior when she wrote this, and her and my sister together, worked on this, and she had it published, and you know, we're very proud of her. Okay, and she only went to the 8th grade, but she was the bright one in school. When the teacher was absent or sick or something, and even just everyday times, my mom would help the other students in the class, and she was like a teacher. She helped the teacher out, with the all the other students. And this was in an old-timey school house that housed, okay, from 1st grade to the 8th grade. And so there were students from all ages in this one classroom. And it was down by a creek, and they would put their, uh, like if their lunch, not the lunch, but the drink. Like if somebody brought milk, it was in a jar, lid, and then set it in the creek to keep it cold. And, if they had, a soft drink or, something else, whatever. But, yeah, what they were going to drink was in a jar. Some had water, and, everybody would stick it down in the creek to keep it cold. So, anyway, that's her first book. Then she wrote a sequel. And the first one is A Time to Remember, and this one is A Time of Change. And there's a lot in there about, the pioneer days. And it is a fictional, novel. And so, anyway, this is the 2 books that she wrote. And these are my copies. Okay, and so this video is going to be about education and the importance of it, and I also want to make a point that it doesn't matter what age you are. Hopefully some young people, see this video, who are, thinking about dropping out of school, or, just, getting a job and earning money and not finishing their education. So I hope this would, reach out to them also. But I also want to include seniors. Seniors, you're never too old to learn more, and to expand your knowledge base. And it helps with growing and understanding and seeing different perspectives and different points of view. And so it's a good thing to, you know, keep up on, expanding your viewpoint. And I don't know, just reading is like, stuff like, history and science and, whatever kind of stuff that, you have interest in, wanting to know about. And because I used to read a lot of books and different topics. And one book would lead to another book, and that book would lead to another book, and uh, I found all of it just, fascinating. There was a lot of stuff that I hadn't known about previous, to reading those books. And philosophy, and some of the great, philosophers and stuff, uh, you know, I found reading that stuff really enlightening. And so anyway, let's get on to uh, the next video. So far, it doesn't seem like a lot of people are interested in this topic, but that's okay. Uh, you know, it's different boats for different floats for different folks for whatever. And so here we go. Let's not delay. Important for the education, people. Yes. So anyway, that's you know, and there was other stuff, and there was other jobs that I would get that I would take on when I got like a little older, that I couldn't physically do because it was too hard physically on my body. And I mean, I would just end up with, a lot of aches and pains, and, and I wasn't really that great at waitressing either. I tried many times. Don't ask me why. I just, for some reason, I couldn't hold enough plates. How these waitresses that they carry like 3 or 4 plates and come bring them to your table. I couldn't do it. I just wasn't good. God wanted to get to think the bag it. Some of this stuff. Oh yeah, I can't help it. At the time it wasn't funny, but now it is. So anyway, I don't know what else. I mean, there was, okay. One time I got a job working at Burger King, and and this was let me say, this was after my fourth divorce. But I was like I think I was like getting up close to 50 when I got this job. And it about killed me. I worked there for like 6 days, like straight in a row. And I worked the evening shift. And at the end of the night, then we had to clean the place up. And so not only working, a full shift and then have to do all that cleaning afterwards before we could close. And I worked myself to death. Which is what I do on those types of jobs. I just push myself and push myself until I finally break. And but like the pans, I scrub, the pans that they, put the burgers on, and the burgers go through the grill and all this stuff. And I could do that. Good. I did okay, doing it the first couple of days, and then it got harder and harder and harder. And but I would scrub those pans, and the manager goes, "Oh, we're so glad to have you here. These pans never have turned out as clean as they have been since you've been here." And then there was the mop and the floor. Sometimes I didn't get on the cleaning pan duties. I got on the mop, sweeping or mopping, and I would get home from work and I would just die. I mean, I'd hit the bed, and finally, like on the, after 6 days of doing this, I actually couldn't get out of bed for like 3 days. 3 days. I mean, I could not move. I mean, my hands, my arms, my whole body was like frozen. Yeah, you know, and so I said, well, I can't do this anymore. So I had to call him and tell him what happened. I'm saying, I thought I could do the job, but physically I just can't do the job. So I did get one paycheck. Okay, and then after that, I got a part-time job working in a video store, and it was only like a few days a week for like 4 hours a day. And that wasn't too bad. And there was also some cleaning, like running when you wasn't busy, running the vacuum, and they also had a tanning room. Cleaning all the tanning beds. You know, checking in the videos, putting the videos away. Waiting on the customers. But it wasn't that bad. It. And because it was only 3 days a week, because I had time like between going in and not and being off. Had time to rest up for the next the next day. And so then even that even that job started getting to me physically. And and plus it didn't pay a whole lot. I mean, minimum wage. And so I mean, it got to where is this really worth it, because you got paid every 2 weeks and you pick up a check and it's like, is this it? you know and so then after that I got a job working in a motel as a clerk. you know well, I had two motel jobs. Now those were easy jobs because there was no physical labor to it. And you know you wasn't busy like all the time. And in fact sometimes it got a little boring. But um, but like a certain time that of course I would work the night shift. So a certain time of the night, once people coming in, checking in for the night and the reservations and all that stuff, then you had time to kill. So you had this big thing that where the day people, you know, did the laundry, like sheets and towels and all that stuff. And so then when you wasn't busy, you just fold the sheets and the towels and stuff. So anyway, that wasn't too bad of a job. I liked it okay. But then there was another motel. Well, there was things that was going on there that scared the crap out of me, because I think the manager and assistant manager of that place was setting me up. It was during the time of Y2K, and they were coming in, and they would um, check in on the computer using my passcode. And why they were doing that, I don't know. And and then Y2K came. You know, they were expecting like some kind of big thing to happen, and both of them come in, and but they were logged in on my code, on my time. They shouldn't have done that. So anyway, it freaked me out. I thought, are they trying to do some thievery? That's what I suspected. And so I went down to this other motel and applied there and got hired. So I quit that one. Said, you know, you I don't trust you people anymore. So Anyway, and that's where I was working when I had that the first stent, the first heart thing went on. And then after that, and then especially after I had that mini stroke, I mean, I tried to go back to work, and he called and begged me, oh, I need you. You got to come into work. I can't find anybody to replace you. You're you're the only, you're the best one I've had for a long time, and I can trust you, and blah 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 blah. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And I went in, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was trying to check people in. I was like, my brain would freeze. I mean, I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. Uh, I would forget, how to do stuff that I had been doing previously with no problem. And so I knocked on his door and I said, I can't do this. I'm not feeling well. I need to go home. And he said, okay. So, he came, took took over the office that night. And then so after that, I called him in and I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to, do this anymore. You're going to have to find somebody to replace me. And so, this, after, I don't know, a couple of weeks, he called me, begged me to come back. He had his daughters to call me and beg me to come back. And I said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And so anyway, then I had to, if I couldn't work that job, there's no job I could work, you know, because here was like, it wasn't normal anymore for quite a while. And so I had, signed up on, disability. And I was told at the time that, it can take, a year or two to get approved. Nobody gets, approved quickly. Well, within 3 months, I had been approved. And because it was obvious, after, and I went, had to go see, doctors and this and that, jump through all these hoops, and they determined, yeah, she's not able to work. So, I got, and then, that way, all my, hospital bill was covered, and the ambulance bill was covered, and everything was, taken care of. So, and then after that, life went on. So, okay, this is 31 minutes. I don't know, did I get my point across how important education is? It's very important. Even though I didn't get to finish. There was a one point at one time when I needed to, when I had my girls and we were living on our own, and I was like between jobs and stuff, and I had no income, and just was going through a divorce, and with my fourth husband, and anyway, so I had to go apply for, like assistance at the, welfare department. And so before you can do that, they want to see, if there's a job that you can do. And, in order to get you signed up, well, I think they signed me up, but to continue getting it or something like that, you had to, take these tests, and you had to go get a job. And so they tested me, and I tested at, 2 years of college. And they said, wow, you really test high for somebody who never finished school. They said, but there's one area that you're not that good on, that you need to brush up on. And one was fractions, which, I took a class, and, I caught up back up on that because fractions wasn't something you used that much, and so I kind of forgotten a lot since high school, since school. And the other one was algebra, which I was never gonna be able to do ever. I mean, it was to me algebra was like looking at Japanese. I mean, or Chinese, or some kind of foreign language. It just was not ever going to compute. And they said I had to be able to at least do some algebra, and you had to show your work. I mean, usually on those kinds of tests like that, I was a pretty good guesser. This one seems like the most logical answer. And but couldn't do it with that because you had to show your work, and I couldn't show. So I still didn't end up getting my GED. If it hadn't been for the algebra, it would have been a snap, you know. But yeah, there was a reason, but that I, you know, come out with, in that test of 2 years of college, is because when I was in my like early 30s, I started doing a lot of reading and studying a lot of different topics, stuff I love to read. I'd go to the library and check out books. I mean, by the stacks, and take them home, and because one book would lead to another book, would lead to another book, would lead to another book, and I mean, even a librarian thought I was, going to be checking out all these books, for some kind of, like college thesis or test or something. And I said, no, I'm just, curious about these topics. And, it was on history, ancient history, and this and that. I mean, the subjects were, wide, broad, and when I would delve into something, I mean, it was like, I mean, I'd fall asleep with the light on and a book laying on my chest and books all around the bed. Because I can go from one book and it would say something, and I go, I'm going to check it out, over here in this book, see, how, if that's true, or, if it's the same. And, but anyway, um, that's why I would score high, you know, on that one test I took, because of all the studying I had done. But then after I had that, mini stroke, I forgot a lot of that stuff. I mean, it's in there somewhere. It's just filed away, and can't be found so much. Because there was a lot of information I had absorbed. Anyway, what's the time on this? Oh, 35 minutes. Whoa. But anyway, this is education. How important it is. And you never get too old, and you don't have to even, educate yourself to degree, for something. I mean, you can do it for your own self, just to have the knowledge, and just, to know about something. I never was, into, like, romance novels, or you know, just regular stories, made up fictional. I wasn't into fiction. I was into something that was knowledge based, that had solid information, and, uh, that kind of stuff was the only kind of stuff I liked reading. And, but I studied a lot of different, topics. I mean, everything, you know, religion and science, genetics, and this and that. I mean, ancient history, the pyramids, the, Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, you name it, and, I wanted to know about it. An inquiring mind wants to know. Okay, I guess I need to turn this off here. And thank you. If you set out through this whole thing, bless you. then you're a true one of my fans, I guess. Or, one of my true viewers, those who hang in there with me and stick with me and, watch my videos and, comment and give me thumbs up. Not everybody does. But thank God I got a few. And I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Because you keep me going. I mean, if it went for that, I'd get so discouraged because some of the analytics is very discouraging. Some of it's okay, but some of it is like, really? Ah. So, anyway, I love you all and take care, and I'll see you again later. I don't know what topic's going to come up next, but who knows? This one just happened to pop out, and I just started, on it. Yeah, like all of them. I wing it. Good night. Bye. Subscribe and like. Thank you. Thanks for watching.